Imagine Dead Cells and Hades had a baby. That's literally what Windblown is. Plus, go ahead and add the fact that Windblown is a 3-player game and you're hooked. Honestly, this is going to be a super playable game. This is going to be my first impressions of the game, what I thought about it, the engagement part about it, and whatnot. Now, there's a few things that I was able to record while I was playing the game, but then I decided that I was going to go ahead and simply review it after the first few hours. The reason for that being that the audio was really scuffed and I didn't want you guys to watch an hour with the audio being super low quality. So I just decided, hey, what did I think about it? So let's go ahead and talk about the comparisons between Hades and Dead Cells. For example, you have 2 weapons in Windblown, similarly to how you have 2 weapons in Dead Cells, that you're able to swap between one and the other. Now, what makes Windblown so much more engaging is that it gives you an ability in the beginning of the game to be able to swap weapons, and it gives you a benefit of it. So you basically get a super if you throw out your 3rd hit with a certain weapon, and if you swap in a perfect moment, you're able to get a super out of it, and it's really fun. It's really awesome. And I'm a really big fan of this mechanic because sometimes I think when games give you 2 weapons or a lot of weapons at hand, it makes it really hard for you to decide which weapon to have in that moment. But having these quick time events where you're able to swap weapons and get a huge benefit out of it, it makes you want to keep swapping weapons over and over again. Sometimes it's just to get that super out, and sometimes it's deciding what weapon you want to pick up, considering what super you're going to get. So Returnal on PS5 is my favorite roguelite ever. What is your favorite roguelite? Please tell me in the comments, because honestly, I'm just curious as to what everybody thinks of what the favorite roguelite is. Now, it's also very similar to Hades in the way that the level design is built up. In Hades, there's these gates where you kind of just decide what direction you're going to go. If you're going to go ahead and go for a certain reward, that's how you're able to figure that out. So it's very similar to Hades. So if you've played Hades, you know the level design is going to be a little bit similar to that. But I think that's as far as it goes. It kind of mimics more of Dead Cells level progression in the way that in Dead Cells, you're able to upgrade a certain attribute such as attack speed, damage, and whatnot. It's very similar in Windblown where you're able to increase your attack damage, your attack speed, or your health. It mimics that of Dead Cells, so I'm a fan that they wanted to stick with what they're used to. Now, the co-op experience feels really fun. It doesn't feel very engaging as of this moment. I think the most engaging part about the co-op experience is the sudden death aspect, that if someone dies in the game, if you get hit a single time, you all die together. So that's really funny, and it's really fun in that way. But other than that, in my first few hours of gameplay, I haven't been able to really experience how it can be very cooperative. I think it feels fun to play with your friend, but it doesn't really show me anything of how you're able to work together to do like something super cool or like super awesome together, other than simply killing a lot of mobs together. That's something to think about. More cons than pros, but I think it's more fun playing with randoms or with your friends compared to just being able to play the roguelike alone. Every game always feels more exciting if you're able to play with friends, and it really shows that again on Windblown, that even when I was playing with randoms, it was a little bit more fun and a little bit more engaging mentally, even if the game wasn't necessarily giving us anything for us to engage with other than the fact of like, hey, wait here, and you can't progress until you all click the X button here, for example. The gameplay mechanics are so good. They're actually so fun. And as someone that's a big fan of Returnal, and I keep saying that Returnal ruined a lot of games for me. I cannot play a game that doesn't feel as fast-paced or as exciting as Returnal. And if you've played Returnal, you really will understand what I'm saying. A lot of people didn't want to finish Returnal because it's too hard. It is a very complicated game that it rewards you if you're doing really well. This game, although it does feel in my mind like Returnal, it does feel a little bit more like Foodie, and it really shines in that aspect. Foodie's really fast-paced in the dashing back and forth, but Foodie is a lot more focused on boss, while Windblown is a lot more focused on progression. In Foodie, there's not really a lot of increasing your levels or becoming stronger throughout the game. You practically feel really strong from the very beginning. On the other hand, for Windblown, you are progressing and getting abilities and capabilities throughout the levels, but you're also getting stronger every time you reset, you die. You're able to unlock and upgrade things a part of your character. I've only played Windblown for about 2 hours now, and I can tell you for a fact I've only scratched the surface. trust me when I say this game is probably a lot bigger than I can even imagine. I haven't been able to beat the first boss. I've beaten the first mini boss really easily and it feels really simple. But then on the first boss, it feels a little bit more complicated, and it does suck that you're not able to test things out with boss in the first area. But honestly, it's just fun getting there and being able to like, oh, that's what killed me. Okay, like let's do that next time, or like let's fix that next time. There's that excitement and the growth of it. So I'm really excited to see what's to come once I'm able to get past the first boss. The game is super playable. It is so fun, guys. I'm telling you, pick up this game if you're a big fan of roguelites. Pick up this game if you love Dead Cells. Pick up this game if you loved Hades. Pick up this game if you loved Returnal, because I'm telling you, this game is it. Like, this is what I wanted for so long. A co-op experience that allows me to really feel the speed and the excitement of combat in PvE. It's really fun, because the issue with PvP games is that there has to be some balance to it. Your opponent has to be as strong as you are. On the other hand, when you're playing PvE, you feel like a very main character, absolute boss, right? But you're still killable. Like, you can still die in these games, and that's fun though. Like, it feels fun feeling super strong, but also feeling very squishy, because it just means I gotta play really well. It's the same thing as Foodie. It's the same thing as Returnal. Like, there's so much power in your character, but it still feels like a challenge. And that is something that PvE gives you that PvP cannot. PvP always has to feel very even for both players, for you and your opponent. On the other hand, for PvE, it doesn't have to be that way. Your enemies can be weaker than you, but every single one is a threat. Some little dumb thing will kill you and you'll be pissed about it, but you'll acknowledge that you made that mistake. That's the fun part about roguelites, that there's always improvement, that you're always trying to get stronger. You're always trying to perfect the way that you're playing the game. You don't get that from PvP. That is what I love about Windblown. That is what I love about so many roguelites. Honestly, if you haven't bought this game yet, go ahead and do so. It's early access, similar to Hades 2. So be aware, it's not complete. I had to lower down the quality all the way to low. It might be my computer, but just a heads up, it's not a perfect game. There's a little bit of bugs here and there, such as things not working properly when you're playing co-op online. But other than that, really freaking amazing game. As of right now, it's the first 2 hours to me felt like a 10 out of 10. I haven't played the full game, so this isn't a full review, but I'm telling you, my first impressions is that this game is an absolute banger. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and I really appreciate it anytime I see a subscriber. Oh, he's just dead. What the fuck? Yo, guys. No!